Good evening. Welcome to the VATV's On the Point program today. This is Dave Nguyen working as a substitute moderator on behalf of the nonprofit VATV program. The news about the upcoming presidential election is everywhere. It's in the community forums, restaurants, workplace, community online blogs, university. There have been numerous activities going on in our community, especially the Asian American community, to attempting to raise an awareness about how important it is for Asian American voters to get involved in this upcoming presidential election. Our program for today will take a closer look at these two presidential candidates. From the perspective of two guest speakers, we are very pleased to have Mr. Dan Yi, our first guest speaker, a business entrepreneur. He was a former attorney working for many years on behalf of the Democratic Party and to have campaigned for a number of Democratic candidates. For the past August, Dan has been able to raise more than $30,000 for the Mark Warner 2008 Senate campaign. Welcome. Thank you, Dan, for being here.
Thank you, Jay.
On my immediate right, Mr. Song Park, a personal financial advisor from a major investment firm in Alexandria, state of Virginia. Song also had been serving as the 12th president of the Korean American Republican Party from the state of Virginia. Song has been working with the folks from the Northern Virginia McCain campaign headquarters in Arlington. Thank you, Song, for being here. It's our pleasure to have you both.
Honored, thank you.
Our program, we would like to begin with Song first. With respect to all the issues that we are having in front of us, especially the economic crisis, the education, the energy issue, and also the issue revolving around the ability to determine who would be the best person to be our next president. Could you let us know what you think or hear, think, and see, particularly at this special moment?
Well, let me first begin by saying thank you for the special invitation to participate in this discussion with Dan. Dan and I are actually friends, and we have been working together, actually the three of us, on the Asian American Success organization. The Chinese say, and I'm sure Dan can attest to this, they say, may you live in interesting times.
Right.
And by far.
Is that correct? Interesting time, okay.
Yeah. Well, certainly these are very interesting times. Not only are we suffering, the war on terror across the globe, we're certainly suffering from our own problems here economically. The political campaign or the political race between McCain and Obama has done something that I'm very happy to see, and that has encouraged many people to actually come out and register to vote. Has got them excited about this campaign, excited about the elections, and certainly going forward in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be a very interesting race to see who America will choose to be our next president.
Okay, and Dan?
Yeah, well, it is a historical election. The choice between Obama and McCain is a very stark choice. And Obama represents, that of the left, in which he's advocating for more social liberal policies and fiscally conservative policies. If you, obviously the McCain camp is trying to characterize the Obama camp as reckless spenders. But, if we look at, history, historically, for the past 20 years, actually for the past 30 years, the Democrat has been the better steward of people's money compared to the Republican Party. The Republican Party, since Ronald Reagan has been elected, on the model that, we should be reducing the size of our federal government, we should be reducing the amount of federal debt.
Fiscal responsibility.
Yes,
right?
Fiscal responsibility and cut spending. However, history are not on their side. Every election they say we should be spending less and cut down the national debt. But Ronald Reagan has put on more national debt than all of the presidents before him add together. George Bush, in the 4 years since Ronald Reagan, has increased the national debt by 50%. Bill Clinton, campaigning, for cutting down the national debt, actually did so. under Bill Clinton, we had the largest federal surplus in the history. And when you have a surplus budget, it's good for the economy. And not surprisingly, we had economic expansion under the 8 years of Bill Clinton. And when George Bush were running for president, he, just like his father and Ronald Reagan, was advocating for fiscal responsibility. However, again, history is not on his side. Government expanded by, the largest percentile.
So, but we're here having a moving, the upcoming presidential election has to do with Senator John McCain and Senator Barack Obama. So in terms of history, I wonder whether Song had any view about Senator
Well, my
John
perspectives
McCain.
with history is my recent involvement in politics, and this is from a personal perspective. As a single man trying to make his mark in life by trying to become successful, I really didn't get involved in politics too much. But recently married, and I have a 18-month-old daughter. I'm sorry, 17-month-old daughter, and I have a newborn that's expected any day now.
Congratulations.
It has really given me a different perspective with regards to politics. And no longer can I, as an American citizen, sit back and just watch things as they come. And that's one of the reasons why I got involved in politics in this particular campaign. Because I think it's very important for Americans to understand that we are going through some very critical times. And in the next 4 years, okay, the past is the past. Okay, I think both Republicans and I think both Democrats have made very, very critical mistakes. And both, policy making and as far as, the earmark or pork barrel spending, I think, Washington has just gotten away, and I think it's gotten Americans very angry. Okay. So at this particular juncture in our history, and in this critical time, there is a need for leadership. There is a need for experience. There is a need for, and the word is out there that obviously John McCain is a maverick, and his hero Ronald Reagan, he's oftentimes gone against even his hero Ronald Reagan. I would like to just kind of throw out there, first of all, that John McCain is not George Bush. Okay, so if we look at the past, and the Republican administration or George Bush's administration, maybe there was some large spending. Okay, obviously because of the Iraqi war. Okay, that probably didn't help curtail spending. But certainly I look at both Democrats and Republicans in much the same light. Going forward, I think that there just needs to be more experience. Okay, somebody who's been willing to challenge and buck the system. Okay, not someone respectfully who's very freshman senator, hasn't spent more than 143 days as a U.S. senator, but probably spent more than 3 years lobbying or trying to become the next president of the United States.
So experience and resolve and the ability to be a maverick, and so Senator John McCain has been doing such for many years. So how would you address to that view coming from Song?
Well, Song, it's actually very convenient to ignore the history of the last 30 years. However, history gives us an indication of how this candidate will behave in the future. Let's look at John McCain's history. George Bush, as we can pretty much agree, has been fiscally very irresponsible. We have piled on $5 trillion of debts since George Bush came to power. But
well, I would like to say that the sole responsibility of the President of the United States is to keep their American citizens safe. Okay, whether the intelligence was incorrect or whether the intelligence was, weapons of mass destruction did not exist, the sole responsibility for the President of the United States is to protect us as American citizens, and that's what he did. If at the end of the day, you look at George Bush, okay, and history will prove that George Bush had conviction, and these are some of the things or some of the qualities that that Americans need with their president.
In 20 seconds, can you address that so we can take a break?
Can I finish my previous point?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, you look at George Bush. The war cost $1 trillion, and the deficit is $5 additional trillion. So George Bush, not including the war in Iraq, piled on. Now, as homeowners yourself, I'm pretty sure you know that spending on credit card is a bad habit.